Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here once again, and I'm back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of Super Mario Bros. 2, The Lost Levels for the original Famicom, specifically the Famicom Disk System. So, last time we have completed World 1 all the way up to World 5, so yeah, not much explanations for the sake of time. So today for this video is that we're going to be able to traverse into not only World 6, but eventually at some point all the way up to World 9, for, at the very least, for the very first playthrough, for the sake of the forms of this run anyway. So because of that, like I said before, is about the fact that it might take a bit of while for me to able to actually get this far in, for the likes of the forms of trying to able to actually unlock the final 4 worlds in the game, which is of course worlds A through D. So as a result of that particular matter though, that's as far as I can usually explain about this. So, but unfortunately though, I did somehow come across into yet another death, if you couldn't tell already, all because of this very annoying wind mechanic that I wasn't terribly fond of. But luckily though is about the fact that I'm pretty sure we actually onto the, the halfway point of this playthrough anyway. So, yeah, not much else explanations for the sake of time. So, anyway, today's date, of course, there is the 3rd of December today, in some cases in 2023 today. Only 22 more days to go until Christmas is almost approaching. So, because of that, I'm not exactly sure what are we going to be planning for this year's Christmas this time around, though. I mean, let us know in the comments down below of what you want me to able to do for the likes of this year's Christmas run. So because of that, despite the fact that White Teddy still passed away ever since and during the Forms event 2020, because obviously the Christmas unboxing video specials is no longer continuing. So because of that, actually kind of think about it, I felt incredibly bad for the likes of the forms of doing the lack of the forms of those unboxing videos lately. Well, I think I should probably be able to explain more details about that once we get to the final Let's Play in 2023, but I can't tell you exactly what it is just yet, because it's gonna be a surprise. So, but either way though, because I don't usually do spoiler alert kind of stuff anymore, this is mainly because no matter what though, I just want to able to surprise you all to see what the actual final Let's Play does it contains. So, anyways though, and also, if you're probably wondering, no matter what though, is that I've noticed that since that Sonic has completely forgotten to mention about this during the course of the Sonic Frontiers playthrough, is that I've noticed is about the fact that in addition that we've already know that the About tab from the likes of your YouTube channel is no longer present, also say applies with the forms of the channels app as well. So that seems pretty weird for that particular change anyway. I have no idea why they've managed able to come across it for that situation with that particular change layout for the YouTube channel apps or something like that. I mean, relatively speaking though, is about the fact that it's been about quite a few hours since I actually have last been onto YouTube, because as a result, been busy playing for, you know, a lot of my Nintendo Switch stuff, as you probably already expect. So, but anywho though, oh yeah, aside from all that stuff though, I believe we've only just got about, I think anyway, we've only got about 4 more days to go now until the Game Awards 2023 is going to take place. And in addition to that, only 2 more days to go until not only one of those ND games, which appears to be by the forms of, well, I'm not exactly sure what that game is called anyway, because I know for a fact it's been about quite a few days since that Sonic did technically mention that during the course of you know, in the Sonic Frontiers playthrough. But, relatively speaking though, is that Sonic Dream Team is going to be around 2 days left now, despite the fact that, wow, it's a bit of a bummer though that, like we said this before, it's locked out behind the forms of that particular Apple Arcade. So, kind of a bummer though. But what I've noticed anyway is that the entire gameplay footage of Sonic Dream Team, it feels kind of like the combination of the forms of Super Mario 64 plus maybe Super Mario 3D World or something like that. Although, mind you, I haven't exactly thought about the exact details about it. Well, mind you, just because I'm still trying to able to focusing on this for now. So either way though, so here we go on to World 6-4. And if I recall correctly, yep, it's another one of those ridiculous puzzle levels. So Although, thankfully though, no matter what though, once we get to the 7th world, and maybe exponentially for the sake of the forms of the later worlds to come, well, the only time exception to this though is, well, I know for a fact it's been about, let's just say, roughly about 8 months ago, or actually, kind of think about it, it's been roughly 9 months ago since I actually have last played, you know, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, thanks to Super Mario All-Stars version, so, oh jeez, those fire bars just comes out of nowhere, and this one things gets a little bit tricky because now Bowser decides able to spawn in a lot of hammers, so, but thankfully though we can easily just somehow walk past him, and there we go, World 6 is completed. So, quite frankly, we've already just got about, technically speaking, 3 worlds left until we've basically done the first playthrough, well at least that will be the only time we're going to be showing those worlds once, because like I said before, I'll try to able to replay the game 7 more times until I'm able to actually access to the World A through D, so as a result we can pretty much guarantee we're able to do those off screen, so just in case you don't able to see the entire repetition for, you know, replaying the exactly same game over and over again. You know, it's kind of feels a bit similar situation as the forms of Shadow the Hedgehog, as well as maybe Sonic Heroes for its team gameplay, and on top of that with the forms of other things here and there as well, so... Oh wow, that went a lot quicker than I thought it was. Well, potentially speaking though, I was quite surprised no matter what though. I almost assumed that the wind might screw me up at the beginning anyway, but at least thankfully though, I did somehow manage to able to survive for the majority of some parts anyway, so... Although as far as I'm aware, during at some point in next weekend, as I've already established earlier, Silver will able to actually eventually go back onto Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, and, well, like I say this before, is that he's almost finishing up everything for the likes of Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link for now, so hopefully not long now until we're able to actually go through several difficult games during that time, so... Anyway though, so... Again, there's not much else to say, as far as I'm aware, but then again though, it's probably best if we let, maybe Sonic or Silver can able to actually mention more details about the forms of the Game Awards coming up, and maybe potentially speaking though with the forms of other, miscellaneous, type of information, thanks to, Jewel, from the likes of the forms of, Metroid Zero Mission Let's Play, so, yeah, that's all I can really say about it. Oh god, that Lakitu, man. But at least thankfully we did somehow kill him, thanks to the forms of that fireballs that I keep on tossing at it, so... Oh jeez, he's back again? Oh jeez Louise, I'm almost gonna get hit by him, although despite the fact that that cloud just went bypast me, so... Oh yeah, for those of you who are the Mario Kart experts out there, did you know there was actually a Japanese arcade exclusive game which appears to be inspired by Super Mario Kart, which I've seen some gameplay footage of it, thanks to the forms of one of those Japanese YouTubers or something like that, and apparently though, that game is actually called Super Mario Kart Doki Doki Race, which as a result, whenever I've seen this particular machine for the first time in a footage anyway, at least in one of those videos anyway, it may look a bit weird to me, especially considering for the fact that I almost assume for the fact that it's been developed by not only Banbesto, but it's also Atlus as well, so I was quite pleasantly surprised to be able to actually know that Banbesto, alongside with the forms of Atlus, was actually a part of the forms of the development for the likes of the forms of Super Mario Kart Doki Doki Race arcade game. Although I'm pretty sure whatever I managed to look on that particular footage anyway, is that I'm pretty sure it only takes place in one racetrack, which appears to be of course Mario Circuit, and there's only 5 playable characters, which there are obviously Mario, Luigi, Peach or Princess Toadstool for back in the old days, and Yoshi and Bowser or Koopa in Japan. So, relatively speaking, I was about the fact that something tells me how to able to send some of these medals in order to able to actually play the game. But you can't necessarily control it, I don't think. It's all about one of those situations that is almost like a gotcha moment or something like that. Something very similar to the forms of that was before. Maybe Day of the Races from Mario Party 2 and Random Ride from Mario Party 5, as far as I'm aware. But I thought it was a little bit weird in terms of the forms of the sound emulation or something like that. So it seems kind of feels like, well, it's hard to explain really, because I know for a fact I don't understand Japanese text translation very well. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, especially concerning for the fact that that particular arcade machine did came out in 1994, which is roughly 2 years after the original Super Mario Kart came out on the Super Nintendo, or Super Famicom if you lived in Japan, and 2 years before Mario Kart 64 exists, at least specifically in Japan anyway, so... Ah, dang it, I somehow died right there. That's gonna be quite annoying, especially concerning I did manage to able to hold right, but sometimes though, it's that the game's collusion decides to able to not letting me progress, so... But at least thankfully though is that we always able to actually go after that super mushroom thanks to the forms of that particular visible block here, so... At the very least we don't have to worry about this for the time, although be very careful not to go up there, because if we go up, basically though we're about to get stuck and there is no way we can able to actually beat the level, so I wish that could be also applies for the other levels coming up, assuming of course that, like I said before, I'll try my best able to actually replay through the game 7 more times off screen, although I'm hoping we can able to get that in time anyway, just in case I want to get this game finished. Maybe, presumably speaking, once Christmas is approaching, at least if I was assuming so anyway, at least depending on the forms of some uploading schedule situations when it comes to not only currently at the moment that, you know, Jewel was still working on, you know, Metroid Zero Mission, and at this point Sonic is still carries on playing Sonic Frontiers, and exponentially speaking, like I said before, Silver still needs to go back onto the forms of Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link at one point, so there's the 7th Toad right here, so, and I don't think this is going to be the final time we're going to be bumping into Toad in this game, because that honor goes to World A, all the way up to World B and C as well, except World D, because World D is considered to be the final world in the entire game, so... Anyway, so here we go, on to World 8, easily without doubt the hardest world in the game. Well, I'm sure enough though is about the fact that there's going to be a lot of weird obstacles and as well as some level gimmicks to it, like, you know, with this obnoxious wind. Not only that though, is that one of those levels coming up might throw me off a bit, so... And also it's going to be filled to the brim with Hammer Bros as well. So, oh jeez, that was a close one. Oh god. And no matter what though, no checkpoints included, so yeah, consider about the fact that we have to concentrate hard, so that's always key here, so... But also I just realized about the fact that I've almost maxed out on coins, so, and I believe I might able to actually get another extra life eventually, but either way, somehow, we did somehow made it, so... Whew, that was pretty tight right there, but then again though, sometimes enemy placements just love to throw you off at points, so... Alright, World 8-2, where basically we do need to require that specific block we need to hit, because otherwise, if you continuously go to the right, I think something tells me we ended up in a loop, so I think so anyway though, or maybe that about the fact that despite, like I said before, it's been about 9 months since I actually have last played this, as we probably would expect, so yeah, see that block over there? The one I just hit earlier? Well, that's the requirement, and also it's mandatory if you want to progress, so... And conveniently enough, what's even cooler is that it does manage to take place in the skies, while the goal is just right there. Which I'll admit though, that was actually a pretty interesting way to end off the level from there. Although it kind of feels like a similar situation as well, as far as I'm aware, from the likes of in Super Mario Bros. Wonder as well. At least if I'm assuming so anyway, but either way. Again, that particular topic on Super Mario Bros. Wonder can wait until specifically next year, sometime in next year, so... But anyway, here we go on to the most despicable level as far as whenever I had horror stories with it, and that is of course level 8-3, where the entire stage takes place in the skies above, fills the brim with not only Hammer Bros, but it's also with the forms of some very picky jumps you have to put up with, and not only that, we have to utilize with the forms of one of those blocks in order to able to progress, because it's actually ridiculously hard to say on the original version, whilst luckily on the Super Mario All-Stars version, if you accidentally manage to able to unleash or activate one of those hidden blocks, you should be alright, assuming you were able to see what the blocks are actually clearly visible. Whilst in here though, it's actually ridiculously hard to see because of all this transparent for that particular, well, it just somehow blends into one of those castle structures or something. So, speaking of a castle though, here we go on to World 8-4, and it's going to be quite a marathon for this stage, which as a result is going to be filled to the brim with difficult obstacles and all that stuff. But again, if you mess up at one point, no checkpoints, so best of luck, I guess. So, and in some cases though, we're actually going into underwater, so yeah, I guess that's something, I suppose. But, oh jeez, that was close. I think I'm also able to, yep, I just got hit by that particular fire bar, but that's okay, because whatever I noticed, there was actually a mushroom onto here, so now this one things gets a little bit more difficult, especially because in order to able to proceed to this point, you see that pipe on the right over there? Well, we have to able to get that exact jump, but here's the thing, sometimes the red piranha plants love to jump scare on you, so yeah, you got to able to watch out for that, so, but thankfully though we did somehow. Oh god, I've completely forgot about those invisible blocks containing poison mushrooms. I mean, yeah, we have to seriously have to watch out for that. And here's my least favorite part about this stage, at least as far as I'm aware, is that I believe coming up is that there's going to be 2 paratroopers that we have to time our jumps correctly until you're able to actually just not only get hit by them, but also avoid the lava as well. I mean, good lord. Oh, thank goodness, I somehow made it. Although, unlike the forms of how it does on the Super Mario All-Stars version, that's basically the lightning's constantly striking. So, yeah, that Bowser right there is fake, so we have to ignore that. So instead, we have to make our way all the way to the right, and exponentially, that's how we're essentially going to be able to deal with this stage. So, oh man, this is going to be a lot harder than it looks, but regardless of such though, I'm almost there. So, either way, oh, that was the luckiest dodge I've ever done. Especially noticeable with that fire bar as well, and what is up with this strange object there? Although apparently though, that's what appears to be some doors that we can able to actually apparently entering into it. So either way, so once again Princess Peach has been rescued, so peace is paved, I think is what it says anyway, with mushroom, with kingdom saved, hooray to Luigi, our only hero. This ends your trip of a long friendship. And every time whenever we do manage to get extra lives, basically though we get ourselves some additional points. So yeah, that's actually quite interesting, all things considered. So either way though, sometimes I will admit though, trying to go for this part can take a bit while, especially because after achieving that particular infinite 1-up trick, which as a result it might take a bit while. So either way, now I'm pretty sure that if you don't do the infinite 1-up trick, I believe it does manage to able to send us some bunch of toads on screen. We're able to celebrate the entire fanfare or anything else like that. But I don't think it's possible we can able to see it on this footage right now, because obviously sometimes emulation might have some technical issues for my NES Classic Mini. So because of that, yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy, right? Well, as it turns out, no matter what though, is that like we said this before, if you do manage to able to complete every regular levels, we're able to actually go into one last world before you're able to go back to the title screen, as far as we can able to predict that right now. So either way though, that must have been said something. So yeah, it says thank you Luigi, but unfortunately though, it cuts to black. So, oh well, no big deal, because after that, it did say the actual message right there. We present Fantasy World. Let's try World 9 or 9 World with one game. Okay, so here's the main gimmick of the forms of the original version of World 9 right here. In the original Lost levels, you only have to do World 9 with just one life. If you lose, that's it. So either way, I just want to able to show what World 9 has to offer, so... But then again though, if you do die at one point in World 9, that's it. You're basically done. So... Unlike in Super Mario All-Stars version, thankfully though, you do able to actually have a lot of lives to accumulate, so... yeah, everything else seems a bit weird around here, especially concerning we have water from the likes of the forms of the overworld environment, and not only that, Lakitus appeared in underwater, Hammer Bros included, and yeah, this is just bizarre, you know? But, again, it's one of those trickier levels, so either way. I honestly found World 9-1 to be one of the hardest levels in the original version, just because, well, if you obviously, get cornered by certain enemies, then, well, that's just it, basically, so... Alright, World 9-2, where we still ended up in underwater. In fact, the majority of World 9 is going to take place in underwater for sure, except for the other level coming up, which as a result, no matter what though, oh, of course, we're going to avoid that Lakitu over there that just keeps on tossing spinies everywhere. Oh man. That must have been something else entirely, you know? But, yeah, then again, not much else I can say about the forms of today's topic at this point. I mean, I've already explained about the forms of how, what the differences does it have from the likes of the forms of the NES version or the Famicom Disk System, or, for short, it was actually FDS, stands for Famicom Disk System, so, yeah, I just want to clarify that, so... And I've personally found it's a little bit weird is that when it comes to the forms of in, you know, with that arcade game I was on about with Super Mario Kart Doki Doki Race, where basically there was actually a voice actor, at least specifically a narrator in that game, but it was also worth noting for is that Koopa Troopa, Toad, and Donkey Kong Jr. are not playable on that arcade game. I'm guessing because of the space limitations for that particular, maybe a track layout might have something to do with it. And in addition to that, it only has one lap for that particular arcade game every time if you keep on spending medals and stuff like that. So, yeah, I found this a little bit strange. And that Bowser right there is fake, by the way, so you could just potentially try to ignore it completely, as you can tell. So yeah, pretty cool whenever I did manage able to accomplish that. So, anyway, so now we're done with that, and let's head off to World 9-4, where, as to be expected, it's now pitch black while dealing with underwater swimming, and in addition to that, it says the special message from the Japanese text. So, either way though, that's as far as I can usually think about it. I'm sure that both Mighty and Ray have already explained about this ever since in the Super Mario All-Stars version of the game. So, yeah, if we think we are basically done, right? Well, as it turns out, if you complete this level right here, I believe it just takes you straight back into the beginning portion of World 9. So, yeah, apparently we're going back into World 9-1 again. So, I suppose we've already did this level already. So let's just take a death and we'll get our game over, which means that we can pretty much move along. So, you're a super player. We hope we'll see you again. Mario and Steph. So... yeah, I guess that's about it, basically. So, with that being said, though, folks, I think we'll get able to actually end things off at this point right here. So, join me next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario Bros. 2 or Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels on the Famicom Disk System version. Is that we'll go ahead and explore through Worlds A through D, and that'll be about it, basically. And like I said before, I'll try to able to do this off screen so I can able to unlock that. So, I'll see you guys at some point soon. Later, fellas.